Is this thing finally recording? Are we finally not good? Hello? Well, what's up guys? If you're watching this as a VOD, it's your boy, Diesel. Oh, dang. Oh my gosh, I hate my freaking headphones, bro. Blame my brother, but yeah. Trying to find the perfect. Let's watch this. Make sure like and subscribe. Bruh.
So you mean to tell me that we got grown men, someone's son, father, husband, getting walked like dogs in prison, and these YNs are still catching bodies like it's just another day?
You could be Space Monster. I'm socking your ass out. We going in here. I ain't giving no nigga pass. So don't give me no pass. Cause I ain't giving you no pass in here.
Fighting while you're naked?
Man, that's a West Side folks that get right up on him. Boom, bam on the dead homies. I'll whoop him, knock him out naked, dead homies. Off the back. It don't matter where you at in that off the back, I'm getting cracking.
Bro, why do they always talk about their dead homies? Like, I get it, that's your dead friends, but
I'm over in the shower, boom.
So you mean to tell me that we got guys who are 6'4" and up, 250 pounds and up like this dude's 4 extra, and these YNs are still catching bodies in broad daylight, sometimes not even wearing a mask? Like the only thing they'll have in prison won't be their hands and maybe a sharpened toothbrush? You won't have that switch when this Avenger level threat, Thanos looking, been looking for the past decade looking motherfucker comes after you.
If someone's curious, how do you turn someone out in prison?
Honestly, if I spot one, then I think, hey, he's fresh, he's a virgin. I want that ass right there. His butt. I'm like, okay, what kind of kiss was that? They kiss me again, we kiss me. And I'm hard, man. I just know it, boy. I've been waiting 5 months for this, man. I ain't masturbated to touch myself. My balls is heavy. I clam this. I kissed it. I love it so much. All that was in his butt. I pulled it out. That's what it sounds like. Juicy. I'm squeezing his breast. Then he called his chest. His breast, man. Name chest, his breast. You're a woman now. My woman. I got to get you out. You know, what level will I be if I can't get my woman out? So I'm telling you young guys, I love you. I do. When I was locked up, I loved you, man. When you come in, hey bro, who you shot at? I don't care who you shot at. I'm getting ready to shoot you.
The more the story. You better not go to prison.
that's the booty bandit right there, the booty warrior,
Don't go to prison.
booty legend.
You mean to tell me that these YNs are still risking their freedom when you got these booty bandit ass muncher gremlins like
That's
this
like the
guy
dude from the Boondocks.
behind bars? I want you to imagine your cellmate trying to kill you over your booty. That sounds crazy to even say, but that's the reality.
One kid that he was on the toilet, he was shitting, and dude came in there with a knife and said, turn around, don't even wipe.
It's dudes in there crashing out over the buns, and that's not even far-fetched because some of these guys are serving life sentences. They got nothing to lose. I mean, this guy dedicated his whole prison career towards going after YNs. He damn near got a PhD in freakiology. Dude legit might be worse than Diddy.
Charged as an adult in certain crimes, that the gravity was hitting him. A grand jury indictment that could come in the near future. Judge told him that he would not be seeing freedom anytime soon.
Court may impose a hold without bond. Court finds sufficient allegations to support the charges.
Hey, dude. Shouldn't have killed him.
He is ordered held without bond.
This moment is tough to watch, but it was something that Zaquavius Dawkins' family says they needed to be here for. Simpson accused of killing Dawkins Sunday night along Chester Street. Simpson also accused with attempted first-degree murder involving another victim.
And you know, at one point before reality had set in and he realized that he took someone's family member and, you know, he started breaking down, I bet you he thought he was hot shit. He thought that just like every other YN out here, he was untouchable. Whether by the law or his ops, he was just above it all. But you see, you only have that impulsiveness, that crash out mentality, that I'm gonna do whatever I want to whoever I want, consequences be damned mentality. mentality, when you're in that moment and the adrenaline is rushing, when you're on that high, or like a lot of these YNs, you're on some sort of drug numbing your emotions. You see that adrenenaline, those feelings, you won't have those when you're in the courtroom, when you're in that cell. You won't have those. It's just gonna be you and your thoughts. And see, I've made a bunch of videos covering the epidemic of YNs, and I honestly feel like if watching this video, especially the story I'm about to tell you, doesn't motivate you to change your life, you might be a lost cause. Meet 17-year-old high school student athlete Noah Scurry, an academically gifted kid who had the highest SAT score at his school. A kid who was described in the best light by adults and his peers.
Who was killed was exceptional. He scored remarkably high on his SATs. The star basketball player on the team here.
When you saw him around, like, you knew he brought good energy to everybody.
He was really smart too. Whenever he entered a room, the room always lit. You know, it was always a smile on somebody's face when they were around them. It's so sad to think that he died.
Brief intermission. I'm trying to get to 100K subs, so I'd appreciate it if you like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah, everybody make sure to like, comment, and subscribe to me and to him. Look at 4Dshams right there. That's his sister.
Person and great athlete. There were even rumors that he was getting looks from D1 schools. Noah lived a superhero life. Well, I guess in this case, super villain. During the day, he'd go to his classes and obviously excel. He'd hang out with his friends when he got the chance. And then after school, he'd go to basketball practice. But see, after clocking out from school in the basketball court, Noah would clock into the streets. Noah's street name was OTV Joker. And just like the Joker, Noah was a menace. Think of guys like King Von and Bloodhound Jeff. Yeah, he's cut from their cloth. He wasn't only going around whooping on his ops, but he allegedly caught 5 bodies. One of them allegedly being Gilly the Kid's son, Young Cheese. I'm honestly just shocked at how he was able to juggle street life and be an academic weapon at the same time. This is an Instagram story of Noah whooping on his ops, caption, "Don't come around me claiming that fast break shit." Fast break being one of OTV's rivals, aka ops.
Taylor really got that fight video.
His face is good.
His face is gone cooked.
It's crazy to think how desensitized some of these kids have become to be able to do some of these things and then just carry on going to school like life is normal. I was having a conversation with a friend and we talked about how when people use guns to commit murder, it allows them to be disconnected from that murder. A lot of times these guys are doing drive-bys and shooting from afar, all while taking drugs like perks to numb their emotions. So they're not really fully experiencing the cruel, grotesque nature of murder. For example, imagine shooting someone from several feet away compared to stabbing them with a knife and having to stab them multiple times. That requires a different level of mental fortitude. That's something that would legit leave you with some next level PTSD. Now compare that to pulling the trigger while sitting in a car and then driving away, or pulling the trigger from a distance. Like, yes, you'll probably see the body drop, but that's probably as far as it'll get. After that, these kids are able to go home and probably see what they did on the news. And see, just like Noah's victims, Noah's actions eventually caught up to him and he became someone else's victim. After dropping this diss track with the rest of the OTV crew, tragedy would befall Noah.
Talking about beats and I'm up like 4. 5 going out of the coke, can't break 1 4, nigga, that's how I go. 15 going on hits, start popping them perks, nigga, that's how I turn to a goblin.
And I want y'all to notice how he said 15 going on hits, popping them perks, that's how I turn to a goblin. Remember earlier how I said these YNs will use these drugs to kind of numb their emotions to be able to commit these heinous acts? The drugs allow them to do a lot of the things that they do. Because for any normal human in their standard mental state, they can't commit these type of crimes. Humans have too many mental and societal deterrents preventing them from committing such acts. But with these new age drugs, you can legit silence your better judgment. But see, the downside is if you're not mentally ill or some sort of serial killer, you need to perpetually take these drugs to deal with the PTSD and cope with the actions that you've committed. Even known killer King Von was on meth when he died.
No cap for my rap, I'm thugging. You gonna need another headshot count on my body.
Wait, King Von was on meth? Wait, what? He probably just popped a blue. I hate when people say people be on meth and like they just popped like a blue or something. It was on smoking meth. Like when I think of meth, I think of smoking meth. He probably just popped a fake perk or something. Which, yeah, that's not great, but you're not smoking meth.
And it never never made sense to me how these rappers will get on a track and basically self-incriminate. They'll talk about how many bodies they have, and they'll give these hints and detailed descriptions about how they killed someone. I know the FBI and CIA are probably more excited than anyone else when these rappers drop new music, because they're basically doing their job for them. But back to Noah Scurry. See, after making a YouTube channel just to drop this diss track, the next morning as he's getting in the car, about to be driven to school by his mom, one of his ops runs up and he gets fatally shot.
Teenager is gunned down in an alleyway behind his home. Noah Scurry is being remembered for his performance both in the classroom and on the basketball court. Games have now been canceled for the rest of the week as the school community mourns his death.
Once again, Noah Scurry was only 17 years old. Anyone with further information is asked to contact the police.
And one of the things I really hate about this situation is that even though he knew he had enemies and people who were coming after his life, he was still hanging around his mom. He was putting her in harm's way just by letting her be around him. And just like Noah was making diss tracks about the people that he's killed, his ops also made diss tracks when he was murdered.
I'm like, what? Did what baby and couldn't doing this, put the Joker down. Baby Joker this, when the joke's over now. He got flame, bullets is burning his wings, he finally gonna be in hell.
And what was Noah's reward for catching these bodies and hurting all these people just to impress other misguided kids? His reward was a couple IG story posts and some of his crewmates saying that certain people didn't kill him, along with basically saying that they're gonna commit more crimes and more murders to avenge him, continuing the cycle. On top of that, Noah kind of just jump-started his friend's career because ever since he passed away, the video has been gaining traction. It's sitting at 1 million views right now in 2 weeks. And his friend who you saw in the music video made a song called Joker 8 days ago, which right now is sitting at 47,000 views. And I bet you the views are only gonna keep going up because controversy sells. This might be the birth of a whole new Philly drill scene, just like we saw back in the day in Chicago when rappers would talk about killing and then people would end up dead, and that whole controversy would lead to more views and streams. In one of my past videos, I made the argument that you can always change your life around and that your actions determine your fate. I truly and genuinely believe that a majority of people who are on street life don't have to be a part of it, and even if they're presently in it, they can make the active choice to grow past it, because otherwise it comes with some pretty grave consequences. A perfect example is Kyron Lacey, someone who's constantly acting like a YN even though he attends a D1 football college program and he's a star player. These are some of the things that I said about people who fit his archetype before people started getting mad in the comments. There's so many people who wish they had the opportunity to even experience one day in his life, and I already know someone's gonna come in my comments talking about, oh, some of us actually did grow up in that environment. Some of these dudes are actually street dudes. And to those people, I just want to tell you, I don't care. If God blessed you with the opportunity to go D1 and possibly get the chance to go to the NFL, at some point you got to learn how to grow out of that hood mentality. Now, I'm not saying lose touch with who you are and where you come from, but you definitely got to start carrying yourself differently. And this is strictly my opinion, but college football players, especially D1 college football players, the ones who get most of the publicity, the ones that get the NIL deals, you know, the ones who have little kids watching them, probably obsessed with them, need to not be doing these little YN stunts, acting like they're Swiss cheesing someone, not having decorum on the field. Because let's be real, once you make it to that D1 status, especially if you're performing well, your life becomes too high profile for you to even consider living that type of lifestyle. After posting that video, people who know nothing about my personal life came in the comments and said, you know nothing about street life, and they basically made the argument that a lot of people are born into this lifestyle.
Calling him corny just because he's pointing out the obvious is why, bro.
Which may be true, but that doesn't mean you can't change. And for all those people who didn't hear me out, Kyron Lacey is currently facing charges of negligent homicide after a deadly crash. According to reports, his victim was a Marine veteran. Lacey was allegedly driving a 2023 Dodge Charger on Louisiana Highway 20 and recklessly passed multiple vehicles at a high rate of speed.
I seen this one meme on Insta that was like, D1 athletes trying not to crash their Hellcat into some random civilian after they signed for their $10 million deal.
By crossing the center line and entering the northbound lane while in a designated no passing zone. So dude was speeding in a Dodge Charger and driving recklessly. Now, I'm not trying to play into stereotypes, but that's something that most YNs do. And I hope no one thinks that I'm trying to use this as a I told you so type of moment, because this is genuinely sad. Dude had a bright future ahead of him. But one thing I did realize, however, is that no matter what type of background these guys come from, they'll end up going down the path of a YN if that's what they resolve to do. A perfect example of that is 4Extra. Although he's a renowned gangbanger now, he admitted to coming from a two-parent household with parents who worked good jobs. On top of that, his father strongly advised them against street life.
I was young, 11. Off the back, I'm born and raised in the hood.
Okay.
On Western Vernon. I'm born and raised in the 40s, South Central. Off the back. black. Whole family from the set.
And did you have anybody trying to keep you away from this life?
Hell yeah, my dad. My dad and my mom. But my dad for sure. He for sure, he was trippy, you know.
But he was from the same hood?
No, my dad don't back.
He wasn't, okay.
No, hell no. He went to school, graduated and all that. You know what I'm talking about? Been to the army. You know what I'm talking about? He believe in, you know, education is the key.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He didn't believe in the gang stuff. You know what I'm saying? My pops was hot when he found out. My pops found out when I was 12 though. He found out when I was going to school at Horseman. The principal called him in here. He like, your son bang. He like, my son don't bang. He like, your son do bang. He like, man, look at the tattoo on his back. And when he seen the photo on my back, he went up.
Although 4Extra was surrounded by street life in his neighborhood, he had a real life example within his household that he didn't have to go down that path. And although I am a strong believer that every human has the right to make their own decisions, these are some of the consequences of those decisions.
Shit, I was in it. I went to jail at 12 anyway. Attempted murder with my homie. Juvenile life. I stayed in there from 12 all the way up to 16. And they found us not guilty. On a sudden, they kicked us out. When I got out at 16, I came right back, like shit, 8 months later for a blower.
So yes, your environment can definitely influence you. But for people to think that your environment makes you 100% of who you are is flawed thinking. It just takes more strength of character to not let yourself get sucked into that cycle. So yes, your environment can definitely influence you. But for people to think that your environment decides 100% of who you are is flawed thinking. But for people to think that your environment decides 100% of who you are and who you become is flawed thinking. It just takes more strength of character to not let yourself get sucked into that cycle.
That's why these writers kept writing written by himself, written by herself, Phyllis Wheatley, Frederick, because they thought Negroes couldn't read and write. They thought Negroes didn't have the capacity to read and write, and yet they made all the laws to stop us from learning how to do what? Read and write. If we can't read and write, what you trying so hard to stop us from? And the answer is because America has always known what you are. America has always known who you are. America has understood what you're capable of, and they will make you think you ain't nothing at the same time that they exploit your gifts. They'll tell you you lazy and make you a slave. They'll tell you you dirty and have you clean their house. They'll tell you you uncivilized, and we raise their children. They know who you are. But it's time that you listen to who you are. That you understand who you are.
If you made it this far, I appreciate you so much for watching. Go ahead and be dropping turning me up, bro. 4Dshams, 40 world.
What should I react to next? Imagine just something cooked just pops up. Alright. Yeah, I think it gets to a point, chat. I think it gets to a point. I think I'm gonna have to call it a wraps on this one. But yeah, guys, thank you for watching this stream or video. But yeah, appreciate. See y'all. I love y'all. Most importantly, Jesus loves y'all.